Welcome to Daily Stoic Practice, your compass to navigate the complexities of modern life with ancient wisdom. Let me guess, lately it feels like stress is winning the battle, doesn't it? You're trying to control everything, every detail, every outcome, but the harder you push, the more it seems like everything falls apart. Am I right? Now let me ask you something. What if, instead of holding on tighter, you learn to let go? Because, my friend, that's where the real power lies. In this video, I'm going to share something that could change everything. How to manifest what you truly desire without burning yourself out in the process. Yes, it's possible. And no, I'm not talking about magic tricks or sitting around waiting for things to happen. Today, you're going to discover powerful principles inspired by Stoic philosophy that will teach you how to let go of stress, take back control of your life, and, most importantly, attract what you've always dreamed of. I promise it's not what you expect, but that's exactly why it works. Are you ready to unlock the power that's already within you? Before we go any further, I want you to step into someone else's shoes for a moment. Let me tell you a story that might sound familiar. Javier was a top executive, one of those people who seem to have everything under control. A packed schedule, big decisions to make every day, and constant pressure to never fail. But at what cost? One day, in the middle of an important presentation to his team, something happened that he never saw coming. His body said, "Enough." Out of nowhere, he couldn't move or speak. A panic attack left him completely frozen. Javier, the man who always had an answer for everything, felt vulnerable for the first time in years. At that moment, something inside him screamed, "What am I doing with my life?" On a friend's advice, he did something he'd never imagined. He disconnected. He went to a cabin in the mountains. No emails, no phone calls, just him and silence. At first, his mind wouldn't stop racing. What's happening at the office? What will people say? But slowly something began to shift. As he walked the trails and listened to the wind through the trees, he remembered a phrase from Marcus Aurelius. Accept everything that happens, even if it's different from what you expected. And then, as if a fog had lifted, he understood. Javier realized he didn't have to control everything for things to work out. When he returned to the city, he stopped cramming every gap in his schedule with meetings. So what did he do with his free time? He made space for things that mattered. Time to reflect, to take care of himself, and to enjoy his family. Here's the most surprising part. When he let go of the need to control everything, things didn't fall apart. In fact, they got better. The atmosphere at work improved, results skyrocketed, and for the first time in a long while, he felt at peace with himself. Now let me ask you, how many times have you felt like Javier, carrying a weight that seems impossible to let go of? Maybe today is the day to say enough and discover what happens when you let calm work its magic. Are you ready to give it a try? Let's get started. Imagine you're at the beach. You grab a handful of sand and squeeze it tightly. At first, it feels like you're in control, but the harder you squeeze, the faster it slips through your fingers. Sound familiar? Doesn't it remind you of life when you try to control everything? Trust me, the more you fight to dominate every detail, the faster it all seems to fall apart. And there you are, stuck in a cycle that leaves you exhausted, frustrated, and further from what you really want. Does that ring a bell? Let's be real. Clinging to constant control isn't getting you anywhere. It's like trying to drive a car with the parking brake on. What happens? You don't move an inch. All you do is burn out and stay stuck. But what happens when you release that brake? That's right, you move forward with less effort and more ease. And that's exactly what you need to do in life. Let go. Now don't get me wrong, letting go doesn't mean giving up, it means trusting the process. And when you do, when you stop holding on so tightly, something amazing happens. Things start to fall into place on their own. Picture this. You're on a family trip. You've planned every detail to perfection. The exact departure time, where to eat, even games to keep the kids entertained. But of course, nothing goes as planned. There's terrible traffic, it starts pouring rain, and your kids decide it's the perfect moment to throw a tantrum. What do? Lose it because the universe isn't following your plan, or accept that some things are beyond your control? Because, my friend, that's life. You can't control traffic, the rain, or tantrums, but you can choose how you react. And this is where Stoicism works its magic. Marcus Aurelius in Meditations left us a timeless lesson. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together. But do so with all your heart. It's like he's telling you, stop wasting energy flooring the gas pedal while the brake is still on. Release it, and you'll move forward with less resistance. Because at the end of the day, what matters more, that everything goes perfectly, or that you actually enjoy the journey. I get it. This idea of letting go sounds easier said than done. But don't worry, I'm here to help. Let me share 3 simple steps you can start practicing today. Not only will they help you let go, but they'll also prepare you to relax and attract the things you truly desire. 1. Write your worries down on a piece of paper. Don't overthink it. Just write something like, I'm trying to control this, but I realize I can't. Then crumple that paper up and throw it away. Literally. Why? Because it's like telling your mind, this doesn't weigh on me anymore. 2. Use the red light pause. Whenever something doesn't go as planned, take a few seconds to breathe. Inhale to a count of 4, hold it, then exhale to a count of 6. This is your daily reminder that sometimes taking a pause is the only way to move forward. 3. Make space in your schedule for nothing. Yes, nothing, even if it's just 15 minutes. What can you do? Listen to music, look at the sky, or simply enjoy the silence. It's in those moments that your clearest ideas and deepest desires have room to surface. When you stop trying to control every moment, you begin to think clearly and manifest everything you desire. Here's the surprising part. When you learn to let go, life doesn't fall apart like you feared. On the contrary, it starts to take shape. This isn't magic, it's clarity. When you stop wasting energy on things you can't change, you free up mental and emotional space for what truly matters. Now think about it. What if today you chose to let go just a little? Not everything, just one small step. Stop clinging to the sand, relax, and let life flow. Trust me, change begins the moment you decide to let go. Have you ever wondered why some days flow effortlessly, as if everything is working in your favor, while others feel like an impossible uphill climb? It's not magic or luck. It often comes down to how you spend the first few hours of your morning. This is when you set the tone for your day, like tuning an instrument before a concert. Imagine stepping onto the stage without adjusting the strings. It would be a disaster. But if you take a moment to tune them, everything flows in harmony, right? Every note resonates, every chord fits perfectly. That's the key. What you do when you wake up not only shapes how you feel, but also how everything else will resonate throughout your day. Doesn't that sound like something worth trying? Let me share a personal experience to show you what I mean. One morning, instead of jumping out of bed and straight onto my phone like I usually did, I decided to switch things up. I sat quietly for a few minutes, took a deep breath, and thought about how I wanted my day to go. Then, instead of letting notifications dictate my mood, I put on my favorite song, one of those tracks that gets you moving no matter what. As I made coffee, I ended up dancing in the kitchen. I won't lie, it felt a bit silly at first. But do you know what happened next? That day went better. than I could have hoped. Even the little frustrations that usually irritate me felt insignificant. It was as if that burst of energy set the tone for everything. Do you know who else understood the power of mornings? Seneca. He said that every new day is a gift, a blank check we should make the most of. He started his mornings reflecting, writing, and aligning his mind with what truly mattered. For him, it wasn't about reacting to the world, but preparing to face it. And you can do the same. Take those early hours and turn them into a space to focus your energy. How can you start your mornings differently? Here's a suggestion. Before you even touch your phone, sit down for a moment and take a few deep breaths. Inhale to a count of 4, hold for a couple of seconds, then exhale slowly to a count of 6. Do this 3 times. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes. It's like giving your body a moment to start with calm and intention. Next, find something that makes your morning special. For me, it's music. Why not give it a try? Put on a song that inspires you, one that makes you want to move. And yes, even if it feels a little wild, dance for a few minutes. It doesn't matter if you're alone in the kitchen or getting ready in front of the mirror. You might laugh at yourself, and that's the point. No one has to see you. But trust me, that burst of energy can transform your entire mood. Here's another idea. Before leaving the house, think about one thing you want to achieve that day. It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's as simple as enjoying lunch without rushing, or getting through the supermarket line quickly. These small intentions not only bring clarity, but also become the first steps toward attracting what you truly desire. So tell me, how do you want your mornings to be from now on? Do you want to start in chaos, letting the day drag you along? Or do you want to take control, create your moment, and set the tone for a day that flows in the direction you want? My friend, you don't need a perfect routine or to wake up at the crack of dawn. You just need to start strong, with calm and intention. Remember, every morning is a new opportunity, and how you choose to live it can be the beginning of everything you've ever wanted. Before we continue, if you're finding value in this content, consider subscribing and becoming an exclusive member to access unique benefits. And tell us in the comments, what steps are you willing to take to relax and manifest what you truly desire in your life? We want to grow together with you. Think of your mind as a puzzle. When all the pieces are scattered and out of place, it's impossible to see the full picture. Everything feels chaotic. But what happens when you take a moment to sort them? You group them by colors, by shapes, and suddenly something magical happens. The picture starts to come together. That's exactly how your mind works. If it's cluttered with disorganized thoughts, worries, and stress, what can you see clearly? Nothing. But when you give it calm and space, what a relief. That's when everything starts to fall into place. A few years ago, a pilot named Chesley Sullenberger, better known as Sully, faced one of those moments most people would call a nightmare. Picture this. You're in command of a commercial airplane with over 150 people on board. Everything's going smoothly until the unthinkable happens. Both engines fail after striking a flock of birds. The plane loses power, and all you see ahead is a crowded city and an icy river. What would most of us have done? Panic, without a doubt. But Sully did something different. He closed his eyes for a split second and took a deep breath. In his mind, there was no room for chaos. He visualized what he needed to do: land the plane on the Hudson River without causing a disaster. Was he certain it would work? Not at all. But he trusted his experience, his team, and most importantly, his ability to stay calm. He manifested it. And do you want to know what happened? While alarms blared and passengers held their breath, Sully spoke in a firm, clear voice. Brace for impact. It wasn't just a technical message. It was a declaration of confidence. He was manifesting what everyone needed at that moment, hope that things would turn out okay. Thanks to his calm, focused mind, he achieved something extraordinary. He landed the plane on the river and saved everyone on board. Epictetus was right when he said, "What disturbs us is not what happens, but our thoughts about it." Sully couldn't control the engines or undo what happened with the birds, but he could control his mind. He turned a chaotic situation into an opportunity to act with clarity and save lives. And that's what we can learn from his story. When you choose to calm your mind, you stop seeing problems and start seeing solutions. So how can you train your mind to be your best ally? You need to learn to organize the pieces of your mental puzzle. Spend 5 minutes a day thinking about all the worries cluttering your mind, like scattered puzzle pieces. But here's the trick. Don't try to solve everything at once. For example, imagine you're stressed about 3 things at the same time: a tight work deadline, a recent argument with a friend, and concerns about making ends meet this month. Think of these worries as puzzle pieces. Take those 5 minutes to sort them. Maybe you put the work project in one corner, marked in yellow, because that's something you can start on right away. The argument with your friend goes in another corner, orange. You know it's something you can resolve later with a call or message. And your finances? Put that in red and set it aside in a future pieces pouch for when you review your budget. Suddenly, by separating the pieces and giving them a place, you begin to see things clearly. You might not solve the whole puzzle right then, but something better happens. You no longer feel that overwhelming chaos. Just by doing this, your mind starts to feel lighter, like you're making progress on something that once felt impossible to handle. Worth trying, isn't it? Remember, when your mind is calm, not only do you feel better, but you also open yourself up to possibilities that once seemed unreachable. Because a clear mind has the power to manifest what you truly desire. Maybe it's time to stop trying to control everything and start trusting more in the strength you already have within you. Have you noticed that rushing is like a hot pan with no oil? It just burns everything faster. And the worst part is, nothing turns out how you wanted. Let me tell you the truth. Calmness isn't slowness, it's strategy. It's doing things at the pace they need so they can flow smoothly and come out right. Picture this. You're cooking for a special dinner. You've invited friends and everything is planned. But you get home late and start chopping ingredients in a rush. The vegetables are uneven, sauce spills everywhere, and on top of that, the pasta overcooks because you're distracted by the oven. When you serve the dish, it's nothing like what you envisioned. Sound familiar? Now think of the opposite. You give yourself time. You chop the ingredients carefully, enjoying the process. You taste the sauce as it cooks, adjusting the flavors. The pasta turns out perfectly al dente. And the result? Not only is it a delicious dish, but you also enjoyed the experience. Do you think that's a coincidence? It's not. Rushing doesn't just ruin recipes, it ruins opportunities. And often we rush because we see others getting everything done, as if life were a race. But listen up, my friend. Everyone has their own rhythm. Comparing yours to someone else's is like trying to make a plant grow faster by staring at it. Marcus Aurelius understood this. He said, "The mind is like water. When it's calm, it reflects the world clearly." As an emperor, he had enormous responsibilities, but he didn't tackle everything at once. He reflected, prioritized, and acted with calm. Even in the middle of crises, he kept his mind steady to make wise decisions. It wasn't about doing things faster, but doing them better. I know slowing down isn't easy when everything feels like it's moving at lightning speed. But what if I told you that those small moments of calm are what open the door for things to start falling into place? Before starting any task, stop for 2 minutes. Just 2. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what's the most important thing I can do right now? Mentally organize your steps as if you're tidying up your mind's desk. This simple ritual won't just give you clarity, it'll help you act from a more relaxed state. And when you're relaxed, things flow better. It's like everything starts aligning with you. Also, stop wasting time on multitasking. I know it seems like juggling multiple things at once is the key to success, but here's the truth no one tells you. You won't do any of those tasks well. So what should you do? Pick one task, just one, and give it your full attention. It's like planting a seed. If you give it the care and time it needs, it will grow strong. And once you finish that task, move on to the next. You'll not only get more done, but you'll also do it better. With calmness, you create the space for what you truly desire to manifest more clearly. As the writer and philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience." He couldn't be more right. Calmness doesn't just improve results, it lets you enjoy the process. Imagine how your life would change if instead of racing against the clock, you chose to move forward calmly, savoring each step. No matter how much you have on your plate, if you take the time to do it well, everything starts to flow. And the best part, you'll feel more in control, more at peace. Because when you do things calmly, you create space for what you truly desire to start taking shape. Picture this. Someone hands you a box and says that inside is everything you're missing in life. Everything that would change your world if you had it. Excited, you open it, expecting to find something extraordinary. But all you see is a mirror. At first, you're confused. What does this mean? Then it hits you. You don't need more. You just need to see what you already have through new eyes. So often, we're so focused on what's next, what we're chasing, that we forget to appreciate where we are right now. But here's the secret. When you start being grateful for what you already have, something shifts. Life feels lighter, stress fades, and almost like magic, you begin to attract more good things. Let me tell you a story that perfectly illustrates this. It's about a farmer who, like many of us, couldn't stop thinking about all he was missing until he learned an unexpected lesson. Every day, he complained about how small and uncomfortable his house was. There's no space. I can't rest. Why does this have to be my life? He was convinced his life would be better if only he had a bigger, nicer house. One day, desperate, he went to the village wise man for advice. The wise man listened and then said, "Do this. Bring your chickens inside the house." The farmer was surprised but obeyed. The next day, he returned complaining, "This is worse. I can't move with all these chickens." The wise man smiled and said, "Now bring the pig inside." Again, the farmer did as he was told. But by the third day, he came back furious. "This is a disaster. I can't take it anymore." The wise man then told him, "Now take the chickens and the pig out." When the farmer got home, he realized something incredible. Suddenly, his small house felt spacious and peaceful. The size of the house hadn't changed, but his perspective had. For the first time, he appreciated what he had. Do you see? Gratitude doesn't change your circumstances. Everything might stay the same. But do you know what does change? The way you see them. And when you shift your perspective, you start noticing opportunities that were hidden before. The magic of gratitude isn't just that it transforms your mood, it's like it activates a spell in your life. According to psychologist Robert Emmons, being grateful for what you have works like a magic wand, helping you see opportunities where you previously saw only problems. This magic aligns you with what truly matters to you, and the best part is you don't need any special tricks to do it. Gratitude is the wand you've always had in your hands. Of course, this idea isn't new. Seneca once said, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." For the Stoics, gratitude was a daily practice. They gave thanks for the small things like the bread they ate, the sunrise, or a meaningful conversation. Because when you train yourself to see the good, you stop wasting energy on what's missing. By doing so, you open the door to manifest even more good things in your life. So how can you practice gratitude? Don't worry, this isn't the usual write down 3 things every day advice. Let's try something different. Set aside a moment once a week to reflect. Find a quiet spot, grab a piece of paper, and write down 3 things you're truly grateful for. But here's the trick. Don't stop at writing them down. Ask yourself, how have these things contributed to what I want to achieve? Maybe a friend's support has kept you strong, or a recent challenge has shown you what really matters. Reflecting on this not only helps you relax, but it also starts aligning your mind with your goals. The more you focus on the good you already have, the easier it becomes to attract what you want. It's as if every small thing you're grateful for builds the path toward your goals, step by step, without you even realizing it. My friend, let me ask you, what are you grateful for today? Share it with us in the comments. This simple act could be your first step toward manifesting what you desire. Because when you're grateful, you're telling the universe, I'm ready to receive more. Have you ever tried listening to your favorite song on a street filled with honking cars, sirens, and people shouting? No matter how hard you try, the noise drowns it out, right? That's exactly how we live today. Every notification, every random conversation, every news alert bombards you like background noise, making it impossible to focus on what really matters. Now let me ask you, how do you expect to discover what you truly want if your mind is trapped in constant chaos? If you don't silence that noise, if you don't create space, you'll never hear the music inside you. Look around. How much time do you spend watching what others are doing, scrolling through social media, or reading headlines that feel urgent but that you'll probably forget by tomorrow? All that noise doesn't just steal your time. It fills your mind with things that don't bring you closer to what you truly desire. Think about it. Every notification and every comparison is like adding another layer of dust to a window. How can you see clearly when everything is smudged? But if you stop, if you disconnect for a moment, it's like wiping that window clean. Suddenly you can see what's on the other side. Your ideas, your dreams, the opportunities that have always been there but went unnoticed. Epictetus said it centuries ago. The free man is the one who is not afraid to go to the end of his thoughts. And what do you need to get there? You need to turn off the external noise. You can't reflect on your deepest desires when your mind is stuck in a constant barrage of distractions. Silence is the place where your thoughts have the freedom to grow, transform into actions, and eventually manifest in results. Let me ask you, friend, how many times have you felt like your mind is so full, you can't even think straight? You're tired of it, aren't you? All that noise doesn't just exhaust you, it pulls you further away from what really matters. So, are you ready to do something few dare to try? Let's turn off that external noise. I'll admit, it won't be easy, but it's worth it. Here's what I suggest. Try a no notification day. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to turn off your phone completely. What do I mean? Set specific times to check messages, say 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. The rest of the time, ignore them. Believe me, I tried it, and I noticed an immediate difference. Suddenly, I had time to focus on my projects, stick to my rituals, and most importantly, be present. Another idea, spend time in nature. It doesn't have to be an epic hike. It could be a nearby park or even your backyard. Take 10 minutes to listen to what's around you, the wind, the birds, the crunch of leaves underfoot. But don't cheat. Leave your headphones at home. It's just you, your mind, and nature. You'll notice something amazing. It's as if nature reminds you of a slower, more authentic rhythm that's always been there for you. When you turn off the noise, it's like being a firefighter facing a blaze. First, you put out the flames of chaos and distraction. Only then can you see clearly what's left beneath. And in that moment, when everything is calm, your mind becomes fertile ground where ideas and desires can bloom. It's in this space of stillness that you can truly focus on what you want and start manifesting it step by step, without the flames of noise pulling you off course. Have you ever tried using your phone when it's at 10% battery? Everything slows down, apps stop responding, and if you don't charge it soon, it dies completely. Now think about this. How often do you live your life with your body and mind running at 10%? Imagine what your days would look like if you started every morning at 100%. You might be thinking, I don't have time to rest, or I have to use that time to get things done. But what if I told you that mindset is doing more harm than good and pulling you further away from the life you want to create? Here's a truth nobody talks about. Rest isn't wasting time. It's the best investment you can make in yourself. It's the time when your mind and body prepare to shine the next day. And believe it or not, rest isn't just collapsing into bed after an exhausting day. It's about creating a space where your body and mind can truly regenerate and recharge. Think of it like maintaining a car. If you don't change the oil, tune the engine, or check the brakes, it might run for a while, but eventually it'll break down. Your body and mind are the same. They need a nightly checkup. When you rest well, you don't just feel better, you think better, make better decisions, and position yourself much more clearly to manifest what you truly desire. And no, this isn't just a metaphor. Science backs it up. At night, while you sleep, your brain goes into deep cleaning mode. A study from the Center for Neuroscience at the University of Rochester found that during sleep, your brain removes toxins built up during the day. It's like sweeping away worries and stress, leaving everything fresh for a new start. When you sleep well, you wake up as if you've hit the reset button, clear-headed, focused, and ready to tackle what really matters. Marcus Aurelius understood this perfectly, even as a great emperor. He said, even the soul needs rest to be effective. Despite the immense responsibilities on his shoulders, he knew he couldn't give his best without time to recover. For him, rest wasn't a luxury, it was a strategy. He reflected at the end of each day, disconnecting from the worries of leadership. If an emperor could find time to rest, why can't you? I get it. You're probably thinking, resting well sounds great, but with work, worries, and family, how am I supposed to make it happen? Don't worry. Here's a simple nighttime ritual you can start today. 1. Turn off all screens at least 30 minutes before bed. Yes, even your phone. Instead, pick up a book, something relaxing that won't overstimulate you, like a light novel or something inspiring. 2. Write your intentions for the next day in a notebook. For example, tomorrow I'll dedicate an hour to that project I'm excited about, or I'll really listen in every conversation. This not only relaxes you, but also aligns your mind with what you want to achieve. 3. Spend 5 minutes breathing deeply as you settle into bed. Nothing complicated, just inhale and exhale slowly. So the next time you think of sleep as just a basic necessity, remember this. Even the brightest stars need darkness to shine, and you are no exception. My friend, let me tell you something you might not want to hear. Failure is inevitable. Think of your failures as the first strokes on a blank canvas. At first, they might look like random smudges, but with every additional stroke, the picture starts taking shape. And here's the good news. It's not the end of the world. It's just the beginning of something better. Did you know many of the greatest inventions in history began as mistakes? Take a look at one you probably use almost every day. In the 1970s, a scientist named Spencer Silver was trying to create a super strong adhesive for 3M. Instead, he ended up with the exact opposite, a weak adhesive that barely stuck to surfaces. It looked like a failure and was shelved for years. Then, one of his colleagues, Art Fry, had a brilliant idea. Use that weak adhesive to create notes that could stick and peel off easily without leaving marks. The result? Post-its. Yes, those indispensable little notes were actually the result of a failure. Incredible, right? You see where I'm going with this. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about how you face it. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your mistakes don't define who you are, but they can shape where you're going if you use them as tools. Every stumble can become a step toward something far greater. Failures might feel like enormous walls, but they're actually doors waiting to be opened. So how do you open them? First and foremost, ease up on yourself. Sometimes we demand perfection and end up with a distorted view of our mistakes. Think about it. How many opportunities have you avoided because you were afraid to fail? When you allow yourself to fail, you also allow yourself to learn. It's like a rehearsal. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time because each attempt brings you closer to the result you're aiming for. Second, use what you learn from your mistakes as a staircase. Every failure is a step that takes you higher, but only if you choose to climb it. Did you mess something up? Great. Ask, what can I take from this? What will I do differently next time? Every lesson makes you stronger, wiser, and better prepared for the future. It's a process, and every step counts. Finally, focus on the present. Too often, we stay stuck in our past mistakes as if they're chains we can't escape. But here's the thing. What you did before doesn't define what you'll do now. You have new tools, new knowledge, and a new opportunity in front of you. Ask, what can I do today to prove to myself that I've grown? With every new attempt, you're building something better. Do you see how everything starts coming together when you change how you view your failures? It's not about erasing them. It's about using them to your advantage. When you do this, you'll notice something interesting. You relax. You no longer feel that constant pressure to be perfect. And in that relaxed state, things begin to flow naturally. It's as if the path that once seemed full of obstacles starts clearing. The more relaxed you are, the easier it becomes to attract what you truly desire. Failures aren't the end. They're the spark igniting something new. So what masterpiece could you create if you stopped fearing those first strokes? Embrace your failures, because each one is a step toward the complete picture of the life you truly want. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself in a movie theater. The lights dim, the projector hums to life, and something unexpected appears on the screen. It's you. You're the main character in a film, but this isn't just any movie. It's the story of your life, exactly how you've always imagined it. Your goals are achieved, the people who inspire you are there, and the moments that make your heart race are unfolding. You see every detail as if it's already happening. Now, here's the big question. What would this movie look like if you were the director? Believe me, visualization isn't just a pleasant exercise, it's a powerful tool. It's like writing the script for your movie before the cameras roll. When you take time to vividly imagine what you want, you're not just daydreaming, you're training your mind to make it real. Because everything you build in the world begins inside your head. Think about it. If you don't have a clear idea of what you want, how can you expect to get there? As Seneca said, no wind is favorable for the sailor who doesn't know where he's going. In other words, you need a direction, a clear vision to guide you. But here's the key. It's not enough to just imagine it. You have to feel it as if it's already happening. That's where the magic lies. It helps you relax, align with your desires, and move toward them with confidence. Did you know your brain doesn't distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what actually happens? That's what psychologist and author Joe Dispenza explains. When you visualize something in detail, your mind interprets it as real. It's like creating an invisible blueprint for what you want to build. And this changes everything. How you move through the world, your energy, your decisions, and even the opportunities that come your way all start to align with that vision. It's like tuning an instrument. Suddenly, everything sounds like it should. So how can you make it part of your life? First, spend 5 minutes a day closing your eyes and visualizing your goal in detail. Don't just picture what you want, live it mentally. For example, if your goal is to write a book, imagine yourself at your desk, typing the final page, seeing your name on the cover, and holding the finished book in your hands. How does it feel? What emotions do you experience? When you bring your dreams to life in your mind, your brain starts acting as though they're already happening. Next, write your goals as if you've already achieved them. This isn't just a list, it's a declaration. For example, instead of writing, "I want to have my own business," write, "I have a successful business where I do what I love." Fill it with details. What's your daily routine and what impact are you making? And here's one more tip. Make this process relaxing. Don't treat it like another chore. See it as a moment of enjoyment. Play some gentle music, sit in a quiet place, and let yourself dream. Because, my friend, dreaming isn't wasting time. It's giving your mind the direction it needs to start creating what you want. Everything begins in your mind. When you imagine with clarity, you're taking the first step toward making it real. It's not just about dreaming. It's about using those dreams as a compass for your actions. So what are you waiting for? Start visualizing, start believing, and start shaping the life you've always wanted. Let me tell you something. Your best is yet to come. This final point isn't just a strong way to wrap it all up. It might be the nudge you need to connect everything we've talked about and make a complete transformation. Are you ready to discover it? Imagine you have a small garden and decide to plant carrots. You prepare the soil, plant the seeds, and water them every day. In the first week, you check the soil excitedly, hoping to see green sprouts. But nothing happens. Am I doing something wrong? You wonder as you peer at the dirt. You keep watering patiently, but another week passes, still nothing. Frustration creeps in. Is there something wrong with the seeds? Maybe I'm not watering enough? What you can't see is what's happening underground. Roots are working hard, preparing to break through the surface. From above, it looks like nothing is happening, which can drive anyone crazy. But don't give up. All that effort is producing results, even if you can't see them yet. And when those first shoots appear, it'll all be worth it. Because carrots aren't in a hurry, but once they come, they're here to stay. Strong, steady, and just as you imagined. See? The same thing happens when you're trying to manifest what you truly desire. Even if it seems like nothing is changing, everything is moving in the right direction. Your intentions, your efforts, and even your energy are paving a path you just can't see yet. And when you least expect it, that's when results show up. Let's be honest, nobody likes waiting. But what if I told you patience isn't just sitting around? It's believing that while you do your part, the universe is doing its part too. As Marcus Aurelius said, nature doesn't rush, yet everything is accomplished. Think about a river. No matter how many twists or rocks it encounters, it never stops. It always finds its way to the ocean. Now, imagine you're in a tough spot. You've decided you need a big change, quitting your office job, selling everything you don't need, setting out to travel the world. Sounds exciting, right? But then reality hits. The first few weeks are a disaster. Your savings disappear faster than you expected, the jobs you thought you'd find aren't there, and you start to wonder if you've made a huge mistake. You try to control everything, obsessing over immediate solutions. But then you remember, you need to trust what's coming. You start applying everything you've learned. You relax, write down your intentions, visualize what you want, and let go of some of that control. Then something unexpected happens. In a casual conversation, someone mentions a work exchange program that lets you stay with hosts while you travel. This is exactly what I needed, you say, overjoyed. But do you see? You wouldn't have found it if you hadn't let your guard down and trusted in what was coming. Don't get it wrong. Trust doesn't mean crossing your arms and waiting. You still have to work for it, but you also have to relax and manifest everything you desire calmly. And when doubt sets in, because, let's be honest, it will, repeat this. I'm doing my part, the rest will come in its time. Write it down if you need to, and put it where you'll see it daily. It's a reminder you're not alone in this process. Never forget. Trust in what's coming, because while you're planting the seed, life is already working to help it grow. And when you least expect it, you'll be amazed by the fruits you never dreamed would appear. I invite you to embrace everything we've explored. Let every pause, every visualization, every act of letting go and trusting be another step closer to what you truly desire. Remember, every step you take, no matter how small, has a purpose. In that calm and trust, there's no emptiness, only possibility. That's where your dreams begin, and that's where they start to take shape in reality. If you've made it this far, leave a comment saying, I relax and attract what I desire, so I'll know who the real Stoic warriors are. Please like and subscribe to Daily Stoic Practice and share your insights in the comments. Your thoughts may inspire others on their own journeys to inner peace and resilience. Also, I invite you to check out our playlist, which will appear on screen. It's packed with ideas, stories, and advice to help you navigate life with more wisdom and confidence. Click it, and let's keep moving forward together. Don't miss our daily videos, insightful discussions, and practical tips for applying Stoic principles to your modern life.